Hi students, today we will be solving more problems using ratios, rates, equivalent ratios, and proportions. Take a moment to read the I can statement. Alright, by the end of this video, I hope that you will be able to achieve this. Let's look at our first problem, using rate to solve a problem. John can drive his car 15 miles on 2 gallons of gasoline. How many gallons will John need to drive 195 miles? Alright, so there's a couple ways you could do this, but here's one way. Step number one, we always want to set up a word ratio representing the problem. In this case, we're comparing two different units of measure, miles and gallons, so that's my ratio. My second step is to set up the proportion using the information from the problem and solve. Again, you can see that I'm still using miles to gallons, and I fill in the information, which is 15 miles takes 2 gallons. And my question is, how many gallons do I need to travel 195 miles? So if I can use a proportion to solve this for x, we'll be done. Alright, so let's look at the relationship of the information that we know. So what we do know is 15 miles and 195 miles, they go together. So the relationship between the two, well, I'm scaling up. Next, I need to find out what is 195 divided by 15. Well, you could do long division, but I've already done it, and it's 13, which means my scale factor is 13. So if I scale my miles up by 13, I'll scale my gallons up by 13. When you scale up 2 gallons by 13, you get 26 gallons. And there you have it. It will take John 26 gallons of gasoline to travel 195 miles. In this problem, we'll use unit rate to solve a problem. At the craft fair, Gracie sold 27 bracelets in 4.5 hours. At this rate, how many bracelets can she make in 3 hours? At first glance, you might think it's difficult because you see a decimal, but we're going to set this up using a ratio and using what we know about unit rates to solve this. So our first step is to set up the word ratio, bracelets to hours, because it says how many bracelets she can make in 4.5 hours. That's a rate. The next step would be to set up equivalent ratios where one ratio has a denominator of 1, meaning if we can find out how many bracelets she can make in 1 hour, then it will be so easy to determine how many bracelets she can make in 3 hours. So let's set that up. We know that she can do 27 bracelets in 4.5 hours. Now, what we know about unit rate is you just divide, but you can also use your scale factor right here. We're going to scale down, which means divide 4.5 by 4.5 to get 1. So we'll do the same thing to 27. We'll divide it by 4.5. 27 divided by 4.5 is 6. So that was actually pretty easy. So we'll use 6, belongs right here. She can make 6 bracelets in 1 hour. So now we're going to use that unit rate to determine how many bracelets she can make in 3 hours. We're going to scale the hours up from 1 to 3. We're going to scale up this time. Now we'll scale our bracelets up by 3 to give us 6 times 3, which is 18. So Gracie can make 18 bracelets in 1 hour. Okay, in this problem, we'll use a proportion to solve a problem. The ratio of boys to girls born at the hospital is 5 to 8. Right away, I see a part-to-part relationship. If there were 56 girls born on Saturday, how many total babies were born on that day? Let's read that again. The ratio of boys to girls born at the hospital is 5 to 8. So there are less boys born than girls. If there are 56 girls born on Saturday, how many total babies were born on that day? What I notice now is I see we start off with a part-to-part relationship, but in the end it says how many total babies. So now we're going to be looking at a part-to-whole. So let's fill in the ratios. We start off with setting up our word ratios, boys to girls, and I'm just going to simply fill in those numbers. That's 5 to 8 girls. But then we change it around. The question is talking about girls and total babies. So when we have 8 girls, how many total babies do we have? I simply just add these two together to get 13 total babies. So now I have the part-to-whole relationship that I need to solve the problem. Okay, so here we go. Step number 2, use this ratio and the given information in the problem. Girls, 8, total 13. If there were 56 girls born, then what's the total? Now I can look at the relationship between girls in both ratios. And I'm going to scale this up by 7 to get 56, which means I'm going to scale 13 up by 7 as well. And 13 times 7, well, that's 91. So that means 91 babies were born on Saturday.